Hi guys, Dragon Warrior Reviews here, and today I'm going to be showing you the Hot Toys Feral Predator from the movie Prey. So honestly, ladies and gentlemen, Prey was such an amazing movie. It was really well written. I loved the music. I loved the story. It was like a very tribey story. I really liked that. There was no machine guns in it. It felt really awesome. And most importantly for this review, I love the design of the Feral Predator. It's quite a different design, a very unique design to a Predator, but I really do enjoy. So anyway, here we got a really awesome, quite big box here. And I'm going to be honest about this box, okay? It is amazing. I love this box design. So as you can see on the front, it says Prey. It says 20th Century Studios. As you can see, the Fox sort of logo. And there's a picture of the Feral Predator's mask on the box. And as you can see, there's some splatters of his blood here. And you can also, if you run your finger along the box, you can feel this lovely texture. I think this is like wood texture, like the trees. I do not know, but it's really lovely. You can really feel the texture. It's amazing. It says Feral Predator here. Hot Toys. I wonder why it doesn't say movie masterpiece though. That kind of does confuse me because this is from a movie. Maybe they couldn't because of licensing. I do not know. But on the side here we go, more of that awesome sort of effect. And also, oh yeah, you can sort of see light bounces off this part as well. That's really, really awesome. I really flipping love this box. Like with a passion. And then on the back here, we got the legal information and the Hot Toy store locations. And that still looks awesome. Whoa, I love how that's like written on the back or printed. That is amazing. And still very, even the legal information and stuff has a textured finish. You can feel the holy crap. And then on this side, pretty similar to the other side. Holy. And then on the top here, there we go. We've got these little like hexagon things. It says Prey, Feral Predator again. Wow, I am absolutely over the moon with this box, Hot Toys. Well done. It is absolutely a feast for the eyes. Like the Deadpool figure, there's a slip cover, so you just take it off and it reveals the figure in the clam tray here. And so far, wow, this is looking absolutely menacing and huge. Anyway, on the side of the box here, more of sort of the hexagon finish there. Really cool Feral Predator. And on the back here, I think this is some figure photography of the prototype, I think. As you can see, it's looking really, really awesome. I really love that attention to detail there. Love that. And that is a pose that I'm actually going to attempt. There's no way the pose is on the side of the box. I was going to do that exact pose, and it's actually on the side of the box. There is no way. That is crazy. And on this side, yeah, sort of same sort of thing. All right, I got both clam trays out of the box, and as you can see, it comes with quite a few accessories and also a pretty decent display base. It's quite big. And honestly, my first impressions of this figure, just looking at it here, it is looking great. Like, it is looking big. The joints are a little ugly, but it is looking very, very awesome. Anyway, let's get Feral Predator and his display base and all of his accessories out of the box so we can take a closer look at him and everything the monster comes with. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I have got the Feral Predator out and all of his accessories. Anyway, let's start taking a look at his weapons. Actually, before we take a look at his weapons, let's look at his hands. Let's zoom in and take a look at the details. As you can see, the details are not the craziest. You can sort of see like some black lines going along his knuckles or along his hands, as you can see, and some sort of alien sort of texture, which is pretty cool. But like the claws are so shiny black plastic. They really should. Sorry, the claws are painted black, shiny black, and in my opinion, that feels a bit weird because surely the Predator's fingernails would be dirty. Maybe it's a movie thing. Maybe in the movie the costume had very clean, shiny fingernails and the fingernails weren't dirty. But you'd think a Predator would have very dirty fingernails unless he polishes them with blooming polish. That's what it kind of looks like. So, yeah, anyway, we've got this hand is for, I don't know if this is for the gun. I need to look at the instructions again to see what weapons are for which hands. But I know this one is for holding one of the smaller weapons, I think. Then these two hands, I think, are for the spear. We also get a set of open mandibles, which we will be switching over later. But all I'm going to say right now is the paint is really awesome. You can sort of see how wet and glossy the inside of the mouth is, as you would expect. Now, next we have the Predator's sort of arrow launcher. So he didn't have a shoulder cannon or plasma caster, which he mounted on his shoulder in the movie. Instead, he held this, and his mask, you know, was used to aim. And basically, this was a heat-seeking arrow. This was a seeking arrow. It followed the opponent with the mask. I think that's how it worked. As you can see, the arrow is already in there. Be very careful. Like the arrow feels quite fragile, and if you're not careful, you may snap it. You also get in the second arrow as well. I think there's also a bit of like weathering on that, or a little bit of pretty cool actually. I do like that. But yeah, honestly, this gun is really awesome. I think the reason why he didn't have a plasma caster in the show is because, as you know, if you watched Alien vs Predator, they have to complete a sort of like, they have to complete their training by killing a xenomorph to get their shoulder cannon. So that's probably why he didn't have one. He was a sort of inexperienced predator. It wasn't inexperienced, but he wasn't as experienced as Jungle Hunter, for example. But I love the details. I love sort of like the language writing on that. It's really, really awesome. It's very, very awesome. And yeah, it's cool. All good about that bit stuff. Also, this will attach to his back by magnets as well. Here we have the Predator's wrist blades, which can be installed in his gauntlet. They're very shiny and metallic and very, very awesome. I'm really impressed. But actually, as much as they look great, they are absolutely, they feel so cheap. These should be die cast. Like, I think when they used to make the build kit Predators and also the Jungle Hunter Predator, the one I own, the really old version, they were plastic. And then I think when they made City Hunter and a load of the AVP Predators, they were all die cast. So why have they gone back to plastic? That is super stupid. Be very, and I mean very careful with these. If you're picking up the Predator and these are on his gauntlet, I would just remove them if you're picking him up and doing stuff. Because D9 actually by accident broke one of these, I think with his sleeve. So just be very, very careful with these, please. Because if you're not careful, they will break. Next, we get this sort of weapon. Basically, this like weapon folded up in the show, or in the movie, sorry, and he sort of flicked it out. It's really, really awesome. I think Naru also stole it as well. It is very awesome, very alien-y look. It looks very alien-y, sorry. It really does, and I really like that. It's a very, very cool weapon. Now, with the spear, you get multiple display options. If this one doesn't pull apart or anything, basically you're meant to stick this one on his back if he's not using the spear. It's the collapsed version. Now here, these are the spear pieces like sort of broken in half, so he can like use both of them at the same time like he did in the movie. And now what this is for is basically what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to, I can't do this on camera, but you're supposed to remove these weapons out of this. You just pull them out, and then you meant to stick them in here to make the full spear. So let's try that, shall we? Whoa, that is big. Here we go. Wow, this is the one I'm going to be using in the display. And as you can see, there's not really much damage on it or anything. There's a little bit of like textury dry brushing on that. I think there is. I don't know. There's quite a lot of texture to it. It's really cool, but it would be nice maybe to see a little bit of blood. Nah, maybe not. I don't think we saw any. We didn't. I'm pretty sure we didn't see blood on the spear in the movie. Anyway, I really like that you can have it either collapsed, or you're going to have it where he's sort of like broken it in half, or you can have it as the full spear. Thank you, Hot Toys, for giving us that customization. I appreciate that. But now we're going to be taking a look at quite a big accessory, just like the spear, but this one's big in its own little way. It is the circle shield. I love this shield. Like, I love that scene where he I think he opened it up and sliced someone's head off with it. It's so cool. I'll be definitely using this in my display. It clips on his gauntlet. You have to remove a panel and stick it in. It will tell you in the instructions. Please look at the instructions, please, to make sure you're doing everything right. But it looks really awesome, but kind of like reflective. Really like the colors. It is absolutely awesome. Now it's time to look at the display base. So what I've sort of done is I try to put as many references to the movie as possible on this one base. I think it's going to be pretty good for the Predator to stand on. You're going to have these like foot on the rock, or on this part, or on here, or just have him standing on the display base. So as you can see, we've got some grass. I think this is mossy. I don't know, this is like mossy rock, isn't it? That's pretty cool. This is like a fabricy part there. This is a rock with another fabricy part, I think. And there's some like slices where like the Predator sliced it. That's really cool. And there's two little holes here. You meant to put the arrows in, or a couple of arrows in. I'll show you that later. This is where you put the crotch grabber. Sorry, via flight pole. Wish there was a way to cover that up a bit like what they did with the Deadpool figure, but unfortunately they didn't do it with this one. And here we go, got some rocks here, some like twigs. Can you remove this? Wait, I think you can. Oh, you can remove these different parts. Now that's kind of cool. Okay, interesting. What else can you remove? Can you remove everything? Can I remove this? No, I think you only can remove this. It's like a fireplace, I think. That's pretty cool. But you don't really want to remove that, really. I think it would look kind of ugly. But yeah, the tree branch here looks kind of like wet, like it's like Sorry, it looks glossy here, painted glossy. So I think it's meant to give off the impression. I think it meant to give off the impression that it's wet. I kind of like that. Really, really awesome. Some nice detail there, some little speckles of weathering. And as you can see, we've got these little slices here. Well, what you can do is you can grab Naru's axe here. As you can see, you can either have it in the Predator's hand, or you can stick it like in the crevices here. So like she's thrown it, or the Predator's thrown it, and it's hit the wood. You can put it like, I think, in these 3 places. That is really, really awesome. Great job, Hot Toys. See if I can get, this one seems to be kind of difficult. Yeah, this one doesn't fit in as securely, but it works. And the back, it's even detailed at the back. Whoa, that's really cool. I respect that, Hot Toys. You even put some like wood sort of details at the back there, and the same over here. Okay, good. Interesting. I like that they are sort of thinking about the back of the display base. I don't really need to, but I kind of like that they're doing that. Also, you get 2 arrows. Now, in the promo pictures, in the blogger photos, there's a few pictures where it looks like the arrow, it looks like you can actually put these arrows into the Predators. Basically, what you can do, I watched the Unite video and this is what he did. You can put 1 or 2 of these arrows in the crevices of his joints to make it look like he's been shot. But if you don't want to do that, you can just put both of them in these holes. So just be very careful you don't snap the arrows, because I feel like they're quite flimsy. They're kind of hard to get in. Hold on, let me do that off camera. It's kind of difficult. All right, here we go. It's not the most secure fit, but they will stay in. I think this display base is cool. It is really awesome. I feel like I love diorama display bases, and like I got one obviously with the original Jungle Hunter figure, the really old one, which I reviewed on the channel quite a few years ago. You got a really cool diorama as well. So I am gonna be displaying the Feral Predator next to the Jungle Hunter. So I'm very grateful that this Predator comes with maybe just as good of a display base, or just as action-packed as a display base as the Jungle Hunter comes with. Alright, here we got the Feral Predator standing up in front of me now. So just to complete the look, I put on the biomask, the wrist gauntlets, or wrist blade, sorry, and I also installed his spear on his back and also his arrow sort of launcher. So, I forgot to mention that already installed on the figure, we get 2 sort of open dynamic palm hands, or claw hands, should I say. And I'm also very disappointed that we don't get any fisted hands, because that's really, really stupid that we didn't get any fisted hands with this figure. So anyway, my first impressions of the figure standing in front of me is, so far, he's looking great. He's not perfect, but he is already winning me over by his look. I haven't put him into any poses or anything like that, but at the moment, so far, I'm very impressed, especially with the upgrades they did over the prototype, which we will jump into soon enough. But holy crap, he's not on his, I haven't got him secured on his display base, just because I really don't want to use that flight pole. It's going to be really irritating to work with. So hopefully I can get him into all of these poses without that flight pole being annoying. Yet again, please be careful of those blades. I did actually knock them a few times when I was like, I think, moving the figure around to put his like stuff on his back. So just please be careful of those. I can really see me breaking one of those later in the video. But anyway, let's jump in and take a closer look at this monster of a figure. So I purposely didn't show the biomask in the accessory segment of the video, just because I feel like, you know, it would just be better for me just to show it on the figure itself. It makes more sense because it's part of the look, in my opinion. Now the biomask is awesome. You can really see it's made up like a skeleton, sorry, a skull of some creature, sorry. And you can sort of see some like red little parts on that, like I think that's like the inner works of electronics, I think, of these masks. And then you've got some like bone, like some white parts, like parts of bone. I don't know, how do I explain that? Texture of bone. Sorry, I'm really not good with all this bone stuff. But it is looking great. I'm not sure if I will try the light up function. I might. Not sure yet. But that wire, I really wish we had 2 masks with this figure. One without the wire and one with the wire. Because it's really annoying trying to hide it. It kind of looks like a dread veil. I like that it does. But then the connection is really annoying to hide. I think I did hide it. We'll find it later. But as you can see, the skin is absolutely disgusting. It looks great. And as you can see, we've got some mini dreads there as well. Now, as much as I love this design and I love the look of this, I do have a complaint. And I'm not the only one which actually noticed this as well. These mandibles are way too red. They should be brown. It really should be more browny, darker, like it was in the movie. I don't know how they went wrong with that. Is it the end of the world? Well, I say no. I still think it's worth getting if you like the design of this Predator, but it's something to be aware of. Also, these little bits, these little spiky bits, they should be way longer. D-Night pointed that out, and when I watched the movie, I definitely noticed that. But you know what? It is what it is at the end of the day. Now, these dreads are amazing. So, in the prototype, they were like sculpted, like rubbery material, like really, a bit like what they did with the build kits of the Predators back in the days. And I was super nervous because that would have like limited range of motion. It would have been awful. But now we get these awesome, lovely, lightweight, rubbery dreads, and we can pose them how we want, as you can see. And it is looking absolutely incredible with all these dreads. They look amazing. You can pose them how you want. And in my opinion, that is what they should do with all Predators. And I'm glad they have continued the rubber dreads like they did with the previous Predators. Now, the mask is held on by friction, mostly friction, should I add, because there is a really weak magnet and the magnet is terrible. Like, the magnet should be stronger. You cannot feel like there's a magnet. If you didn't know there was a magnet, if you didn't do any reading or watch any reviews or watch my review, you would know there was a magnet. You wouldn't even notice because it's that bad. So this mask stays on, but if you're moving this figure around, it's going to become loose and it will probably fall off on you. But if you've got this on display in your collection, it shouldn't fall down. Now let's move down. The torso is amazing and the neck is all made out of this rubbery material, a bit like Venom and the Demogorgon figure from 3-0, or Venom from Hot Toys, or PS5 Venom, should I say. It's awesome. Like, I'm pretty sure on the prototype you could see a joint there, but now you can't. It's underneath the rubber. But unfortunately, they didn't do that with the arms. You can still see the ugly joints. I really wish they painted the joints to look a bit like the skin, but no, they didn't put the effort in. They look ugly and shiny. Well, yeah, whatever. And on the side, I love the detail on the arms, though. He's got some scarring on his sort of body there, like you would expect. And it is awesome. Now we look at the back. I need to be careful this Predator doesn't fall over or his wrist blades may break. As you can see, we've got the arrow launcher on there as well. Pretty cool. And you've got his sort of med pack. You can't open it this time. You can with the Jungle Hunter one I've got, or most of the other Predators that came out. But this one you can't because you didn't see it in the movie. You saw him like patching himself up with some little like needle injection thing. But you didn't see him open this, I don't think. I'm pretty sure that the way you turn on the lights is you plug, as you can see there, I tried to hide it, it's pretty hidden. You remove this panel, you plug that in to the back here. Put a USB at the bottom here somewhere. I think you remove another panel, I'm not sure, maybe it's just right underneath there. Then you put it back on, the wire comes out, you try and hide the wire, then it works. I might try it at the end of the video, I'm not sure. Then down here we've got his spear on his back. And here we go, we have the wolf skull, as you can see, from when he fought the wolf and then he like turned it, then he removed all the skin. Now it's a trophy, which is pretty cool. What is this? What the hell is that? Is that a rat? I think that's a rat. Oh, that's cool. That is really cool. I really love that attention to detail. That is absolutely incredible. Now, if we go down here, the armor looks pretty cool. It's made out of this sort of like flexible rubbery material. If you have this pose, if you try and do like a dynamic pose, these legs spread out like he's doing the splits or something, these parts are going to be like bent out. As you can see, this one is, and I haven't really moved the legs. So maybe if you heat it up, you can get it back into place. You'll hold it for a few minutes. I'm not sure, but yeah, I kind of wish maybe it were made up more of a fabric-y material. Not a fabric-y, like a bit like maybe like it's made up like stringy material, so it didn't bend, it just moved like it did in the movie. I don't know how they did it in the movie with the outfit. It looked like the movie was, these parts were moving as the outfit did. I'm not sure. Hopefully, it's not the end of the world though. And as you can see, we got his gauntlet there. Very awesome. I think you remove one of those panels for the shield. This part has the explosives, I think. Remember when he dropped the gauntlet and then those 3 explosives came out? I think that's what that's for. And on the side here, this is the wrist gauntlet, as you can see with the wrist blades. Looking pretty cool. Yet again, remember, they are very fragile, but the detail is amazing. You sort of see it more of that like Predator language on there. And down there, some more scarring on these legs there. This part meant to be fabric. It's made out of rubbery, unfortunately, PVC plastic. Kind of wish it was a bit more fabric-y. These parts really, they look good, but they should be more like fabric-y material. They're split cut designs, but they look a bit weird. And those toes, those shiny toes, should definitely not be that shiny. But honestly, so far, this figure is winning me over because it's really awesome. And yeah, I think it might be time though to get him into some poses. I will put on the Flash in some of the poses as well, so you can see a bit more. I don't know, I might do that now quickly, just give you a quick look with the Flash on. Oh my god, I almost forgot, ladies and gentlemen. We need to take a look at what he looks like without his mask on. So let's take it off. Yeah, it's super loose. It's super easy to take off. No effort at all. But here we go. This is what the mask looks like removed from the Predator, as you can see. And there's a bit of padding in there to protect the paint applications. As you can see, this is his ugly face. So this is definitely not one of my favourite unmasked looks for a Predator. I prefer him with his mask on. But honestly, it doesn't look too bad. It looks pretty awesome. And I feel like he's definitely going to look a lot better with the the open mandibles. So let's switch them over. Oh yeah, that looks a little better. Actually, I'm not sure actually. You can see more of the seam line, I think. Or maybe not, maybe it's just me. Yeah, no, I think that looks better with the open mandibles with the mouth off. When I was looking at some pictures, I didn't think I would like the unmasked sculpt as much. So, I didn't think I would like the Predator with the mask off really that much. But now I've got it in person, it does look a lot better than I thought it would. I'm definitely going to be displaying him with his mask on forever in the collection. But it does look great. I'm going to give them that. It is a pretty cool design. Anyway, I think it is time now to get to the Feral Predator in a few poses. Alright, I have got Feral Predator in his first pose. Before we do that, I just want to tell you that I forgot to mention this detail. This is like a weapon or something. Oh, whoa. I know what that is. That's this weapon, but sort of done up, like I said earlier. I think that's what it is. Holy crap, that's cool. Now, I said I wasn't going to use the display base, but I had no choice. He's kind of front heavy, but the display base does work really well. Hopefully it doesn't dig into the rubber over time. I think my final pose, I'm not going to be using the display base. I'm not sure if it's possible for me to do the final pose that I want to do. I'm copying it off one of the Hot Toys blogger photos. So yeah, the weapon I have to stick here, by the way. It should be going down lower, but yeah, it has to stick here, unfortunately. Then this is doing my blooming head in, man. I'm hoping if I plug it in, it'll look a lot better. But that's stupid, blooming, annoying. What D-Knight did is he cut off the electricity thing, so the wire. You can do that if you're not going to be using the wire. I could never bring myself to do that. But anyway, here we go. I got the shield on, as you can see. He's roaring. And yeah, it's really awesome. And he's holding Naru's axe, because I remember when he was fighting and he was using the shield, fighting those guys with the guns, he actually did use Naru's axe, I'm pretty sure. So I got that there. I had an incident where I by accident flicked one of these arrows off and it went flying, but luckily I found it. But yeah, he's looking great. As you can see, this is what the mask looks like with the open mandibles. It is awesome. I love the shield. It's very, very intimidating and it's very awesome. And yes, I think earlier I said removing this piece, you can do it, but you won't really want to do it because it looks a bit weird. Well, I was kind of stupid. I think the reason why you can remove this piece is because you can do something like this. The display base is more accessible. And in my opinion, I'm so grateful they did that. So you can do something like this. And this pose works because of that. And yeah, he is looking great here. Don't want to show... I don't want to spend too long on each pose. I just wanted to show it to you really quickly. And yeah, he's looking great, man. He really is. Oh, flipping yes. Now, this is what I'm talking about. The other pose I liked, but this one by far is my favourite so far. As you can see, I've sort of wedged the arrows. This one was a bit harder here, but as you can see, I've wedged it in his joint, so it looks like he's been shot. And this one was a lot easier, as you can see. But as you can see, we've got both of these sort of spears in his hand, as you can see. And he's not on his display. Sorry, I don't have his support. Sorry, I don't have his flight pole connected to him, as you can see. And he's in a pretty secure pose. I've switched around the display base, it's backwards, and because it's detailed backwards as well, you can do stuff like this, and as you can see I've got Noro's axe there, and my god, I love that you can stick the arrows through there. It's so cool. I love that the arrows are built for that, because they definitely are, because in the promo pictures, or blogger photos, released blogger photos, you could see the arrows stuck in his body, which is awesome. Let's be very careful, we don't want him to fall over, but my god. Ah, dude, I want to stay on this pose all day, but we can't. We don't have all day for this video, but my goodness, look at this. Wow, dude. I love the wet glossiness in the mouth. It's really good with the flash on. Holy man, though. Ah, dude. This is great. This is what I'm talking about. This is a cool pose. All right, here we go. This is the final pose with the open mandibles. As you can see, I did say, I think when I was unboxing this figure, I was gonna like copy the pose in the box where he's holding the spear above his head with the mask on, but I changed it a little bit. Wanted the mask off of this one just because I already have done a pose with the open mandibles with the mask on, or I've done two. So also this detail here, like there, is really, really awesome. It's like he's used like bones or something to make his armor and stuff, or his wrist gauntlets. But yeah, no, it's really looking good here. Got his mask just sitting down there, as you can see, got the arrows back over here, and he's holding the spear up and he's got his claws in. Make sure to put those claws in last. Do not put them in first, because you may risk breaking them. I'm really liking like this like unmasked head. So not unmasked head. I'm really liking it without the mask on more and more, honestly, as we go on with this review. Yeah, some people say it looked goofy. Not the Hot Toys design, the design in the movie. But I sort of see why they think that. But I feel like it still looks really, really intimidating. I decided not to use the flash for this one because... But you can sort of see some of the seams, and with the flash it would help see some of the seams on the face a lot easier. So... Didn't want to do that, but my goodness, he's looking great. If I turn him on, I don't really am scared of turning this figure. Oh, goodness. Oh, I got the box in the way. Sorry, I put the box there for, like, some figure photography for Instagram. I forgot to remove it, but, yeah, we're pretty good here. Still got the weapon on his back here, looking very awesome. I'm not going to turn him anymore. I'm going to turn him back, because I don't want him to fall off. He does stand very well, and he also poses really well as well. The joints are very impressive on this figure. Holy crap, man. I'm very impressed so far. Like I said at the start of the review, he ain't perfect. But for me, personally, I feel like he almost is perfect for me. Like, so far, I think. But yeah, wow, I'm just loving that face. I could just sit here shooting this face all day, but I think it actually will be time to move on and get to a couple of poses with the closed mandibles. So yeah, let's move on to the next pose. Alright, this did take me quite a while, but I've got a pose where he's crouching down, as you can see, and he's sort of like holding his mask. Ignore the wire, pretend that's not there. There's not much I could do about it. You probably can maybe stick some blue tack or some tape inside the mask if this is going to be your permanent pose to hide the wire, or just cut the wire off. But as you can see, it looks good. We got the closed mandibles, and I got the dreads really posed quite nicely. Yeah, I had him on the display, but so I had him with the sort of a waist clump first, but I kind of wanted him without it, so it looks a little bit better. I know the wire is making it look a bit worse, but why do I keep leaving this amazing box cover in front of behind the Predator? But holy crap, man. The pose is really designed to be looked at from this side. It looks really pretty good in my opinion. And yeah, I think it's turned out pretty well. I think it's now time, though, to move on to my final two poses. If everything goes to plan, I have shown you, I think, the Predator with every single weapon he has in his hand, I think, after all the poses I'm going to do. So yeah, let's move on. Wow, I love this. This looks great. Alright, here we go. This is my second to final pose. I got him holding his arrow launcher, and he's holding this little weapon as well. So, it would make more sense for me to put the LEDs in now, just because, like, he would be using them right now to aim at somebody shooting his rifle, or sorry, his arrow gun. But I'd rather just test it out on the final pose, I think. The final pose is not going to have his... Oh, no, yeah, it is going to have his arrow gun in his hand. Oh, okay, actually, no, we're good. So... But yeah, no, it's looking really good. I really like this pose. I love how I posed the dreads. I just love these dreads. Like, I'm so glad they are properly free-floating. Sorry, not free-floating. I'm glad they're proper, like, rubbery sort of dreads where you can just move them, not like a solid rubbery piece where you couldn't move the head or anything. I love that you can actually move them wherever you want. They're very like floppy. They really feel like I feel like those, I don't know how to explain it, but they're really awesome though. They're really, really awesome. I think I've hidden that. You can sort of see it there, the little cable there. It's really annoying. But yeah, I'm liking how this pose is looking so far. Quickly, let's use the flash quickly so we get a proper look at the, you know, the details here. Very, very awesome. Holy, what a beautiful looking creature. Yeah, I know it's a little annoying about the mandibles. They should be more brown. It probably would have looked a little bit better. I think D-Knight did do a video where he sort of repainted those because he does, you know, mod things so he can do all that stuff. And it did look a little bit better, but honestly, it doesn't bother me as much as it bothers him, I don't think. These dreads are really getting me, man. Like, they're so good. They're just so easy to work with. Anyway, I think it might be time to move on to my final pose. The one I'm going to be having it in my personal collection. I'm quite excited for this one. It's going to be kind of basic. It's going to be a very basic pose, but he's going to have a lot of his weapons on him. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is my final pose. Now, as you know at the start of the video, you know I had a problem with this piece where I kind of hoped, or kind of, sorry, not hoped, I kind of, you know, wanted them to give us two masks, one without the wire and one with the wire. Well, I think I've sort of solved the problem. So actually, you know, as you know before, that wire was dangling down there and you can see that ugly sort of like connection port. Well, if you plug it in, obviously you take this compartment off, then you plug it in and then there's a little hole. So you sort of feed the wire near that hole, then clip it back in. Just push it in, it'll bend the wire inside. And as you can see, the wire is barely noticeable. So basically, I'm not going to have this lit up in my collection, but I'll have the wire connected at all times. So it will hide that ugly blooming wire, not wire, connection piece. But as you can see, we got a wire, so not a wire, an arrow connect, sort of like shot in his shoulder. I put it in his joint. And as you can see, he's holding his spear with his wrist gauntlets out, wrist blades out. And then he's holding his, oh, he's got his shield on and he's holding his arrow launcher, as you can see. And in my final display, I will be having the flight pole connected to his waist, just so he doesn't fall over. But right now, I don't have it on just because the wire where it connects behind. If I just turn it around, you can sort of see there, it connects underneath there. I'm not going to turn it around now, just because I'll turn it around later after I've done the pros and cons section. But yeah, I like it, this final pose. It's looking great. It took me a while. I wasn't like sure if I was happy with how the dreads are. I'm still not sure if I am happy with how I posed the dreads, but it should grow on me. I wanted the head to look down a little bit. This light is pretty bright, as you can see. I did take a picture for my Instagram account with my lights off, so you can see what this light looks like in lower light. If you want to see that picture, make sure to check out my Instagram account. Make sure to follow me. The link is in the description. They didn't really need to add the light off feature. It probably would have been better if they didn't add it and just painted them red, just because that wire is annoying. But once you have everything plugged in, the wire becomes less of a problem, to be fair. It looks more seamless because the wire looks like the dreads, so it kind of like fits in pretty well. Moving on to the two irritating and two great things about this figure. So the first irritating thing is, as much as this face sculpt looks amazing, unfortunately they didn't get the mandibles quite right. They should not be this bright red. They should be brown, like a slight dark brown color, I think. It's not the end of the world for me. It's only a little nitpick there for me. Like, I personally don't mind if sometimes things are not 100% accurate. As long as it still looks amazing, I'm fine. But it's just something, you know, I have to point out there, or I want to point out there. The second irritating thing is, why are these blades not die cast? They are very, very flimsy feeling, and you probably could break these very, very easily. So I really wish, like the old days with Predators, or like, you know, the AVP Predators, or the City Hunter Predators, or what I mean, by the way, the AVP ones, the 2.0 AVP ones, these would be metal. But unfortunately, Hot Toys do like to cheap out. Now, the first great thing is the dreads. Before this figure was officially released, I was really nervous, and what made me slightly less excited for this figure is I thought the dreads would be those sculpted, awful, rubbery dreads, a bit like what we got with the build kit Predators, where you cannot move the head properly. That was what the prototype was, but I was super relieved after they posted a picture on Instagram talking about just showing the updated dreads, and these dreads could not be any better. They are absolutely perfect. They flow perfectly. You can sort of pose them however you want. Now, the second great thing is the display base. I love that they sort of, detail the back so you can turn it around. And I also love that you can remove this piece just in case you want to do something like this. And I'm very happy with the display base. I think it's perfect. It's big enough for him to stand on. You can get him in really dynamic poses. And I'm very, very happy with it. Also, I love that you can put the arrows in the joints. But that's just something where you can sort of take advantage of joints, I guess. You can stick arrows in there. Anyway, if you have enjoyed the video, make sure to hit the subscribe button and that like button. Honestly, I think this figure is worth it. He's not perfect, but honestly, he is close to being it, I think. And he is absolutely awesome. I've really enjoyed posing this figure up. And he is very, very awesome. If you are a massive fan of this Predator and the movie, I honestly think you cannot really go wrong with this Predator. He looks amazing. I really hope the spring-loaded waist clamp does not eat into the rubber of the skin over time. That wouldn't be cool. He can stand without the waist clamp, as you saw earlier, but I really don't trust this figure not to fall over. As you know, I had my Venom figure fall off the top shelf, and this figure is quite heavy, and if this figure falls, as you know, quite a lot of his accessories are quite fragile, especially these blades. If he falls, I got a feeling stuff will break, so I don't really want to risk it. I'd rather risk, the rubber, maybe the display base eating into the rubber than the figure falling off and destroying pretty much everything, not everything. You know what I mean? Like, probably the spear will break, the blade will break. This came broken in D-Knight's box, the rifle. The arrow rifle thing. The arrow launcher. So I don't want anything to break. So that's why I kept him like this. Anyway, make sure to comment down below if you think this figure is a cop or a drop. Because I know D-Knight did not like this figure at all. He did like it, but he had a lot of complaints about it. And he wasn't as happy as I am with this. So let me know. Are you happy with this? Or do you think it's not worth getting because it's not good enough? I think it's good enough. Anyway, I'll catch you guys in another review, figure preview, or sure.